explain a little bit to us about why you can't hold a president accountable for things he does as president, in the sense that what if they try a president for murder crimes during a war or things like that? So can you go through a little bit of why that doesn't make sense? And maybe you can explain, because some people also say, well, why has this never come up as an issue before? Well, probably because our country was never at this point where people were willing to prosecute a former president in this way, but the left hates Donald Trump, and so that's why. But can you explain a little bit about what that immunity would involve?
Sure. I mean, the reason this issue's never come up before is because in the history of the United States, throughout the entire history of our republic, no former president has ever been indicted, has ever been subject to any criminal process with respect to their official acts in office. And that's the constitutional design. That's what our framers understood the constitutional design was, that for a president's official acts in office, we're not talking about personal or private conduct here, but for their discharge of their duties as president, they can't be held criminally liable. They can't be prosecuted unless they're first impeached and convicted by the House and Senate. That's the system that our Constitution sets up. That's how, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Marshall in Marbury v. Madison understood the system. I mean, we have an uninterrupted stream of case law going back to the very beginning of the Republic, where the Supreme Court consistently said that a president's acts, his official acts in office, are not reviewable by the court, absent impeachment and conviction. Suddenly we get to President Trump and we get to this D.C. prosecution brought by special counsel Jack Smith. And when you actually read the indictment, this is relating to President Trump's efforts to investigate election fraud in the aftermath of the 2020 election, a subject I know you're very familiar with. President Trump was doing things like asking the Department of Justice to investigate election fraud and calling members of Congress and expressing his concern as president with the way that the 2020 election was conducted. These are core executive functions that really get to the heart of the president's responsibilities under Article 2 of the Constitution. And yet Jack Smith indicted President Trump, 4 federal felony counts in Washington, D.C., for exactly this sort of conduct. So all we've said is that a president should have immunity from prosecution for his official conduct, absent the constitutional process that's laid out.